Welcome back to Steph's Garage Jewelry. Thank you everybody for the support. It's been tremendous, and I truly greatly appreciate every little bit helps. I've been doing this now just a little over a year. Woohoo! Still a few things to learn, still working on things and working with this old equipment, but we're getting through it, right? That's the important thing is. So today, I thought it would be great if we touch base on the basic the even count flat peyote stitch. And the reason why is I have a few projects in mind that I would like us to do together. And you know, if you have the basic peyote stitch down, great. That really helps you and gives you a leg up. Now we've done peyote stitch, but we've done it in bezels only so far. So I thought we should really dive into that a little bit. So I am also currently working on the Russian leaf video. That is a fun little project that you can turn into so many different things, so watch out for that. What else here? Oh, also make sure you check out my description boxes. I'll try to do a better job in updating them. So in this video, I think I'm going to list a few books. I have no affiliation with them, but these are books that have helped me out, and I thought, what a great way to share that information. I'm also going to include a digital book, I believe, by a fellow artisan. No affiliation, just happened to see her work, and she does beautiful designs for peyote stitch. So I thought I'd share that with you. What else? Oh yeah, hey, don't forget to hit subscribe and like this video, because believe it or not, it does help. So thank you to everybody. And if you do that, thank you again. So greatly appreciate it. In this tutorial, we're going to do a few things. One thing I'm going to do is this is not going to be any particular pattern. It's just simply the way I'm going to do it. So I'm going to divide it into 3 colors so you can see how the next row goes. I'm going to show you how I tend to reinforce basic peyote patterns. And then I'm also going to show you how to add thread when needed. And so let's go ahead and let's get started. Gather your materials. Now you don't have to use 3 different colors if you don't want to. If you want to use 1 color or 2 colors, and you can create your own little pattern as we go, that is fine. I'm just here today to help you learn the basic stitch and feel comfortable with it, okay? So let's gather our materials and let's get started. Now, it doesn't matter if you use round seed beads or if you're using Delicas. I am using 11/0 Delicas here. And again, if you want to practice with a larger size bead, that's perfectly fine. This is practice. The key to getting started is you want an even number. I have 12 Delicas here. I will say this though, Delicas are kind of nice simply because they work kind of like Legos. They really just kind of fit together in the peyote stitch. So just FYI, but again, if you're using round seed beads, that's perfectly fine as well. Alright, so I have 12 11/0 Delicas here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up 1. So the second row here I'm going to do in champagne gold, and just to give you a bit of a contrast so you can see what I'm doing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up 1 11/0 Delica. I'm going to sit it next to this bead here, and I'm going to go through that following bead. So let me just go ahead and do that. So I picked up 1, and I'm just going to go ahead. And things are a little loose right now because we're just getting started. You know, once we get done with our first 2 rows, it will all sit together, and you'll probably have to play a little bit with these 2 top beads to start off with, But again, once we get done with our second row, it's really going to be easy peasy. So we're just going to set that down here for just a second. I'm just going to move some things out of my way. There we go. There. All right. So I got the first bead on. I'm coming out of this 11-0 Delica. I'm going to pick up another 11-0 Delica, set it right next to here. Whoops, I got a little fuzzy on there. Yeah, I should have used the lint brush on here. I've been working on so many different projects. Alright, so I'm going to pick up another 11-0 Delica. Again, this row I'm going to do all in champagne gold. It's going to sit next to this one, and I'm going to go through the following. There we go. I gotta pick this up. There. Got the fuzzy on me. There we go. And nothing wants to sit correctly for me today because I'm on camera. It always works that way, right? There we go. So just like that. There we go. And we just kind of tighten things up. And then I'll do the same thing. So I'm coming out of here. I skip over, I'm going to set up another 11-0 champagne gold here and then go through the following. There we go. Just like that. Alright, so this is the last one for this row. There we go. So when we look at this, so I'm done with this second row. Now we're going to get started on the third row. And as you can see, we have all these little notches, which is going to make our job easy. So I'm coming out of this 11-0 Delica. I'm going to pick up 11-0 Delica in my third color, and then I'm going to go ahead and go through that first sticking out color, which is from the row that I just put on the gold, the champagne gold. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so I'm coming out of here. I pick up 11-0 Delica in my third color. This is transparent dusty rose. There we go. And then I went through that champagne gold. So let's go ahead and do that again. So I'm coming out of here. I just go through the sticking out bead. Oops, might help if you can, my needle will stay in place. So I go through the sticking out bead, just like that. And I do that all the way up. My tail got caught. There you go. You see how everything just fits like Legos with the Delicas? Really, Delicas just make your lives easier. Now there's times where I prefer the round bead, and it just depends on the design. You know, And it's nice to have contrast sometimes, including not just colors, but also types of beads. There we go. So let's go ahead. Now we're at the end, and you can see when I come back down here, and I'm going to do the blue just so you can see, I'm just going to go through the sticking out ones, okay? So for the blue, it's going to sit next to that gold, but my first sticking out is right here. And it's not sitting right. There we go. Now the reinforcement I like to do after I have put on my 4th row, and what I do is I just go through now. That first row I'll reinforce at the whenever I'm attaching something to that, but for now, and there's always exceptions to the case, I just go through. There we go. I just go back through the, in this case, I'll go through a blue and the gold. There we go, just like that. There we go. Nothing too fancy, just wanted to make sure I reinforce. And the reason why I do that is that I always end up coming back in the same spot that I left off at. That's why I like doing that. But, you know, whatever way you want to reinforce, that's fine. I just highly recommend reinforcing your projects. There might be rare exceptions to the case, but overall, it's just a good habit to get into. There we go. And I just like to use my finger to help guide the thread so I don't get knots. There we go. And then when I come back down, what I do is I go through the navy and the dusty rose. And that way I end up exactly where I ended up at. Alright, so go ahead and do a few more rows and then meet me back here and I'll show you how to add some thread. I'll show you how to end thread and then add some thread, okay? At least how I do. There's more than one way. Okay, so couple of pieces of advice before I show you how to end your thread. and then I'll show you how to add your thread. Is you want to make sure that when your piece is lying down that it's not bunched up anywhere. See how everything is nice and even? And the way that I do that is that every time I put in a single bead, so let's do one last row together. There we go. Is that when I put in, I'm just going to show you, when I put in a bead, I go through the next one and I just gently, you know, pull it in, and then once I make sure it's lying correctly, like for example, if this wasn't sitting correctly, I would then just take my finger and pull it out, and then I would go back and wiggle it back and forth until it sat correctly. Then once I'm done with that, I just do a gentle tug at the end. So let's do that one more time here. So I just go through the next bead, you know, just like normal. Make sure it falls into place, and then I just give a little tug, you know. And if it doesn't sit correctly, I go back and pull that bead out and then go back in and realign it. Okay, so I'm just gonna pull those two, well, I'm just gonna go up here. There we go. We go all the way up. There we go. And that will help with the tension. Plus, reinforcing will also help. So you don't have to pull too tight. You just want to make sure you want to, you know, give it a nice tug, so that way, gentle tug, really care, you know, at the beginning you have to pull a little bit more with those first two rows just to keep the tension, but once you got the tension started and you are going in and out and then you reinforce, you know, it's going to work itself out. So be conscientious. If you're seeing it bunch up, you know, just go back and start over. Okay, and once you have, you know, you develop that good tension, you know, it's going to be easy peasy. But that takes practice. So just make sure that your piece is lying nice and flat. All right, now for ending a thread. So ending a thread is going to be the same way you're going to be adding a thread. So what I like to do is, once I know that my thread is getting to the point where I'm going to need to add soon, I'll do a couple of rows where I'm not reinforcing. And then I go back through, and what I do is I'll use my reinforcement as part of ending my thread. So right now I'm coming out of this gold. I'm not going to worry about that dusty rose on this side. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reinforce. I'm not even going to worry about the gold. I'm just going to reinforce the dusty rose and the blue, because I didn't reinforce that before. And I'm just going to go down and reinforce that all the way down. And then I'll turn around and go up once I've done that. So the key thing with reinforcing the peyote stitch is that you want to turn around 3 to 4 times and go in different directions. And that, you don't have to do knots, because you're turning around and going in different directions 3 to 4 times. So this is one turn. Okay, here, just like that. And that will be my second turn. And then I just go all the way up, and then I turn around and do the next 2 rows. There we go. I'm just going to finish this one up, and let's just assume that I turn around and did a 3rd time. Okay, because then you can end your thread once you've done it 3 times. And if you get into an area where you've already reinforced, you don't have to go all the way up. What you can do is you can just go turn around and go up 3 or 4 times. So if you're running out of thread and you can't do that, that's how you want to handle that. So for example, if my thread here was too short, I'm gonna just go ahead and turn around here. And don't worry, my thread's just gonna go ahead and disappear, and I'm gonna go down a little bit. So if I didn't have enough thread to do that for ending a piece of thread, I'm not gonna worry about going all the way up, because when I add my thread, that's when I'm gonna make sure I've reinforced those rows that I might have missed, okay? But I'll just make sure that I've reinforced it like I'm supposed to. And I've turned around 3 or 4 different times. And if you're doing smaller sections like that, definitely do 4 if possible, okay? If you're doing the entire row, I would say once you've done, I would do a full 3, and then maybe turn around and do a little bit of 4th and then end your thread. But that's how you end your thread. And then what you want to do is just use your thread zapper or your scissors, get as close as possible. Meet me back. Well, actually, why don't we just go ahead and do that here. There we go. Oops, I think I need to change the batteries. There we go. So that's how I end the thread. And then I'm going to show you how I'll add the thread. So I make sure if there's any rows that I haven't reinforced, I go back and make sure I reinforce those rows. And if I had reinforced those rows, what I like to do is I like to at least turn around 3 times in the reinforcement area at minimum, and then go ahead and add on new beads. So for example, let's see here, let me just go this way. And you can tell with your N where you haven't reinforced. For example, you'll just see the 1 thread right here. I know I need to reinforce that. And if I look on the other side, oh yeah, I see this section here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go like this. So just make sure, and then I'll just go through the whole entire thing and make sure that I reinforce it. There we go. And just that's all you do for your adding thread. And whoops, I did that wrong. There we go. Yeah. Okay, Steph. There. And, voila. All right. Well, thank you guys. I greatly appreciate it. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to respond. And have a great day. And let's see here. This will be June, so we have no holidays yet coming up, but the 4th of July is just around the corner. So take care, stay safe, and thank you for watching.